Hello and welcome back to Bookmark Chronicles. Today I'm doing a follow-up to my Kindle TBR that I did in February of 2022. So this video came out of inspiration from a suggestion that I got from Heather. She said I should do my KU TBR, and it reminded me that I had a Kindle TBR and that I never really followed up with it, and it's been over a year now. So figured I should go back and see what was on that. I am going to do my KU TBR though. That will be next because I have switched out a lot of things. And in the time between when I did that video and now, I think that was around the time when KU increased the amount of books that you can check out. It used to be 10. I don't know what it is now. It's at least 20, but you can definitely have more than you used to be able to. If you have not seen that Kindle TBR video, I will have it linked in the cards and in the description. But I'm gonna go over all of the books that I talked about in that video and tell you whether I've read them, DNF them, if I lost interest in them, and all of that. So I think I'm gonna start with the books that I've lost interest in. I downloaded all of these at one point, but then decided that I just didn't really want to read them anymore. First one is The Chocolate Chip Cookie Murder by Joanne Fluke, I think is her name. This is a very long cozy mystery series, and a lot of the books in the series have been turned into movies on Hallmark. I lost interest in this one partially because if you know me, you know that I've struggled with cozy mysteries. Maybe I'll do a video on that. And I think it was Nicole who said that she didn't like it because the main character does something stupid, and y'all know that if a character annoys me, I'm probably not gonna want to finish the story either, so I just decided to take that one off the list. Then I have Red, White, and Royal Blue. YA isn't my thing as much as it used to be. YA romance in particular is not something that I'm really interested in. I think I wanted to read it because people were talking about it and really loving it, and there was a lot of hype surrounding it, but 9 times out of 10, I can't trust the hype anyway, so I don't really see the point. Next is The Awakening. So I wanted to read this because I know the author. I've known him for quite some time. However, I'm not a huge sci-fi person, and I thought that I could try it, and maybe one day I will read it, but I feel like I would actually have to get more into sci-fi before I did that, because I feel like I would probably go into it and not really understand or appreciate it. So I don't know if sci-fi is something that I want to break into. I did really love Iron Widow. I think Hunger Games is also considered sci-fi, but other than those two, it's really not my genre. And the last book that I just lost interest in is The Beekeeper's Promise by Fiona Valdi, maybe. So I had read The Dressmaker's Gift. It's historical fiction. I did enjoy The Dressmaker's Gift, and for that reason I was interested in The Beekeeper's Promise, but historical fiction just really isn't my jam anymore, so I don't really read it often or gravitate towards it, so I just decided not to read it. So there was one book that I am still interested in, I just haven't read it yet, and that is The Risk. This is the first in the Mindfuck series, where we have a female serial killer who is dating the FBI agent that's chasing her, I think. I'm still interested in this. I think I still have it downloaded. Megan read it a little while ago, and I said, let me know how you like it, and she said she liked it. She continued a little more into the series. I don't think she completed it, but she did like what she read so far, so I am definitely still interested. Plus, serial killers is kind of a buzzword, so I'm still excited to see if I like that series. Moving on to books that I started to read and then DNF'd. First is The Princess Trap by Talia Hibbert. Reading the ebook, I just really wasn't feeling it, so I was like, all right, maybe if I try the audio, I can just, put it on in the background and keep going. I didn't like the narrator, but I also just didn't care for the story itself, so it just didn't work for me. Unfortunately, anything by Talia Hibbert outside of the Brown Sister series, I tend to not like. The other book that I DNF'd was The Gender Game. This is a dystopian where there are 2 islands, one where mostly women live and the other where mostly men live. And I don't remember what the reasoning for dividing them was or what even the point was. I think I read like 2 chapters and it just really wasn't gripping me, so I gave it up. And then there were 5 books on that list that I did actually end up reading, so I'll tell you what I rated them. First was Desperate Measures by Katie Robert. I rated this 3.5. This is an Aladdin retelling where Jasmine ends up with Jafar. It was okay. There's also consensual non-consent, as it's been explained to me. However, there was no conversation about that at that time, and I didn't like it. So I'm not arguing with people about it. If you're cool with it, cool. I'm not a fan. Then Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I gave this a 2.5 and I feel like that was generous. I did not like this book. I think there were elements that could have been interesting. I feel like she's focused on all the wrong things. Like, what is the point of making Galaxy biracial if she doesn't actually know anything about her heritage? She's also like the mystical minority, which is just fucking weird. And I didn't go to Yale. I ain't never gonna be at Yale. I don't care about the buildings. I'm sure that they were very accurate descriptions, but I don't care. This was on my worst of 2021, maybe? I don't know, but that year, Leigh Bardugo was on that list 3 times. I have an author review of Leigh Bardugo, so I'll have that linked in the cards and in the description if you're interested. I don't know if I trust her anymore, if I'm being real. Then we have Born Darkly. This is about a serial killer and his therapist, and they end up falling in love. I read the first book, it's a duet, and then I decided to DNF the series, so I'm not gonna read the second book. I didn't like the serial killer. He's a vigilante serial killer, so he only kills people who have hurt others. And cool, whatever, get your Dexter on, but I just didn't like him. He was very cocky, he was very arrogant and like kind of smug, and the way he played games with her, I didn't like it. I rated it 2.75 just because it was kind of intriguing, the serial killer aspect, not him. Then I read Daughters of Henry. I ended up rating this 3.5. I now have a physical copy. I also have the sequel, Descendants of the First, right there, because I was supposed to read it in February and I didn't. But first book was good. I felt like it was a little slow pacing wise because there's one thing that you're waiting for it to happen and it doesn't happen until the very end and the book is over. But the journey to get there was still pretty interesting, so I did enjoy it, and I am going to hopefully finish that duology this year. I really don't have an excuse not to. I have the book already, so I need to do that, but definitely recommend if you like African-inspired fantasies. And the last book that I actually read was Murder by the Book by Lauren Elliott, I believe. This is the first in a cozy mystery series. I hated this book. Not as bad as Death by Coffee. Don't read that bitch. But this one, it was just okay. I think I gave it 2.75 stars and I DNF'd the series like I have with most cozy mysteries. Those are all of the books that I talked about in my Kindle TBR last year, so not terrible. I read some of them. Out of 12, I completed 5 and DNF'd 2, and I'm still interested in 1, so whatever. Let me know if you have read any of these or if they are on your TBR. Are there books on your Kindle that you still need to get to? Probably, so you should do that. Otherwise, that's all I have for you today, and I'll see you in the next video.